Classic Truck Rescue, welcome back to the Roadhouse Garage. Today, we're going to show Gopher a little bit of love. Gopher is the 2010 Ford F350 Lariat that Jeannie and I have been using for over 10 years now to rescue classic trucks from all over America. We're going to replace both of his fuel filters. There's one that goes beside the frame under the driver's compartment. The other one goes under the hood. This is an instructional video, and that's all. I'm just showing how to change these filters. I've done a lot of instructional videos over the years, and I always get a lot of thanks for them. So if this helps you out, that's good. And please leave a like or check out some of our other videos on Classic Truck Rescue. First, I'm going to show you what you need. Well, you don't need gloves, but if you don't like diesel fuel on your hands, gloves. You'll need a 36mm socket. That'll get both of the fuel filter housings off, a 1/2-inch drive ratchet, and a couple of 1/2-inch drive extensions. These are the fuel filters. This is the one that goes under the driver's compartment. This is the one that goes under the hood. They both come with new O-rings for the caps. You'll need a coffee can or something. The fuel filter housing that's under the driver's side has a water separator in it and a drain valve that we'll be using. You'll need something to catch that fluid. And without further ado, let's get it done. So here is the fuel filter housing that's under the truck. It's just to the driver's side of the transmission pan. And there's a little lever right here that you flip. Before I do that, I always keep a piece of fuel line around with a hose clamp on it that I can just push on there like so. And then I can put the other end of the hose where it will go into my bucket, and it flips that way. And you can see the nasty watery diesel draining into the bucket. This could take a little while, so I'll be back. Okay folks, so we're down to just a little drip here and there. There was quite a bit. Well, I'd say there's about a cup and a half of fuel, contaminated fuel in there. I'm gonna go ahead and close this separator back off. Just flip it back over like that and pull my hose off. Now we can come over here and get this cap off. I'll come behind this cross member with my ratchet and come in through here to get my socket right there. I had to go get another option for the amount of length between my socket and my ratchet. The reason for that is you're trying to get your ratchet up in this hole to get past this cross member and get to that cap. This might work a little better. Oh, or not. If you have one of these, This might be a good time to break that out. Oh yeah. That's a ticket. You just put about 3 feet of extension on there and it gets real easy. So if you have a long extension that you use for bell housing bolts or something like that, that's the tool for this job. I wonder if that's gonna pee on me. I bet it is. I'm gonna get my bucket ready. Well, there it goes. I won't let it get me, folks. I won't do it. Okay. A whole lot of access going on here, folks. There we go. I knew it was coming. So you want to clean this out real good. Let's see how dirty this thing is under here. It's pretty dirty, as you can see. Not too bad though, I've seen worse. And what I like about these Motorcraft filters is they do have a dual layer, this thin one that goes on the outside. So that's one of the fuel filter caps right there. There'll be 2 of them, one's under the hood. But on both of them there's an O-ring right here that you need to replace. I like to use one of these little pick tools to do it. Also, when you put the new one on, you want to try not to twist it too much so it's not rolled up when it's installed. And after you get the cap cleaned up and the new O-ring installed, take a little bit of diesel fuel and just go around the O-ring so that it's not dry when you go to screw it back on. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some serious grunge inside this cap. So that filter was doing its job. And there's our new filter and O-ring installed and ready to go in the truck. Okay, with everything done on the bottom of the truck, we'll shift our attention to under the truck without killing ourselves on the ladder, hopefully. This is the cap for your top fuel filter. A lot easier to get off than the other one. I'm going to go ahead and add this to the video. Before you pull this cap off, it might be a good idea to just cram some rags or shop towels in between the filter housing and the intake, because it doesn't happen every time I change the filters, but sometimes fluid does spill out of here, so you just want to catch as much of that as possible. Ooh, that O-ring's brittle.
Put some grease on it. It's John Wayne with you.
You can hear the fuel draining back down in there. Ooh. Ooh. Try not to make too much of a mess. There it goes. Okay, so now I'm going to show you me cleaning this fuel bowl out, because mine had a lot of sediment and debris down in the bottom after I pulled the filter out. But I'm going to warn you, if you clean it all out and get all the fuel out of there, it's going to create a lot of air in your system. So if you look down in there and it looks clean, leave it alone. But if you want to clean it out like I did, there'll be another step at the end of the video that you'll have to do to get that air out of the system. So again, if you don't see a bunch of debris inside your bowl, don't clean it out and get all the fuel out of there. It will cause an air situation that you'll have to deal with. Ooh. Try not to make too much of a mess. There it goes. This is the same bucket that I drained the fuel into when I was underneath. I'm just going to go ahead and stick these paper towels in here and soap up this extra fuel, because I want to clean this area out really good. Worth a few paper towels.
Which means there's air in the system.
Took him 12 hours to bleed it all out.
When you get that all soaked up, you can dry that out and blow it out with an air compressor. Like I said, this one's not as dirty as the other one was, but it is dirty nonetheless. You can see the difference. Let's go install this. Okay, with that other filter installed, you're done. Except for one thing. I told you earlier in the video about air getting into the system if you soak up all of the fuel that's in here so you can clean the bowl out. If you've cleaned the bowl out and you've got too much air in the system, before you even try cycling the key, you're going to need to come up here, and this is the valve that you're supposed to use. It's like a tire pressure valve to bleed the air out of the system. Right here. You'll be there all day trying to bleed the air out of the system there. What I did is I popped this Schrader valve loose right here, and you're going to need a big old towel that you're prepared to throw away after you're finished. You tuck it all around here because you're going to get a lot of fuel out of here as you bleed the air. So you just crack this loose. Preferably have somebody inside that can turn the key on and off. So you'll come over here, you'll have them turn the key on, crack it loose, you'll get some air out, but then fuel will start coming out. Crack it down again. Do that several times. I got a lot of air out through here, and it got done pretty quick after I tried this and a bunch of other stuff. So this is the spot right here for getting the air out of your system. At least, you know, do what you're going to do. I'm not a dieselologist. I've said that before. I just know what worked for me, and what worked was cracking this loose. You could actually see the air coming out. You couldn't see the air because you can't see air, but you could tell it would, fuel would come out, and then there'd be spurting noises and bubbles, and this really sped things up for me. It only took a couple of minutes. Jamie did the key for me. Once we got all the air out here, we went ahead and cycled it. It fired right up and ran perfect. It's very important. You have to purge the system from air.
You want to get rid of it, you got to bleed it out.
You have to get all the air out of the system. And the way to do that, put your key in the ignition. Do not turn it all the way forward. Turn it forward to the first click. To the same position you would have it in if you were warming up your glow plugs. Leave it there for a second. Heck, leave it there for 5 seconds. I can hear stuff going on. I can also hear the fuel pump running, but you want to do that 10 times. They say 6 to 10 times, but 1, so that's 2. They say 6 to 10 times, but why would you do it 6 times? I can still hear things going on. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, folks, let's give her a shot. Sounds good when you first fire it up. Go seems to be doing well. That's going to do it for this episode of Classic Truck Rescue, folks. I do the instructional videos when I have stuff that I have to do. There are probably quite a few videos out about how to change the fuel filters on these Super Duty diesels, but I looked and I didn't find anything that really dealt in depth with how to get rid of massive quantities of air in your fuel system. I think cracking that Schrader valve is the way to do it. If you enjoyed this video or if it helped you, please take a moment to like, subscribe, share, comment, keep coming back, and ding, click the notification bell. Peace out, folks.